Today we are going to talk about time signatures with 8 as a bottom number. So far we spent a lot of time talking about time signatures with 4 as a bottom number, often using 4-4 as our example. Today we're going to have 8 as the bottom number, which means we're going to be counting eighth notes. In 4-4 we were counting quarter notes, the bottom number 4. 1 over 4 is 1/4 or a quarter. In 6-8 here we've got 1 over 8, so we're counting the eighth note. 6-8 is probably the most common time signature that has 8 as a bottom number, so we'll use it for a lot of our examples. Compared to 4-4, everything is going to be twice as long in the number of counts that we have. So an eighth note was half of a beat. Now we're going to be giving each one its own count. So in 6-8, we would count all the way up to 6 using eighth notes. Quarter notes previously got 1 beat, but now they'll get 2 counts each. So this would be 1 with 2 on a line, 3 with 4 on a line, and 5 with 6 on a line. Dotted quarter notes used to be a beat and a half. Now they're going to be 3 counts. So 1 with 2 and 3 on a line, and we'd do 4 with 5 and 6 on a line. Here we've got a half note. It gets 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2 eighth notes kind of just fill up the measure. And then we've got our dotted half note, which is going to get 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 4-4, it got 3. In 6-8, it gets 6 counts. Let's do some rhythm math as if we were in 6-8. Since we are counting eighth notes, this eighth note would get 1 count, plus a quarter note, which now gets 2 counts. So 1 plus 2 is 3. The dotted quarter note gets 3 counts, 2 from the quarter note and 1 from the dot, right? 2 plus half of that makes 3. And then the dotted half note. A half note gets 4 counts in 6-8, and the dot adds half of that, so an additional 2 for a total of 6. So 3 plus 6 is 9. Let's do an example practicing counting in 6-8. We start with a dotted quarter note, which gets 3 counts. So we're going to put 1 with 2 and 3 on the line. Then we've got an eighth note, which gets a full count, 5 gets a full count, and 6 gets a full count. But this eighth note is tied to the one in the next measure. Ties work exactly the same in 6-8. So we carry that line over and we put this one on the line. We would not restart our note here. Then we got a quarter note. That's going to start on 2 and use 3. Here we've got 4 for an eighth note, and then we've got an eighth rest. That's going to get a count of 5, but since it's a rest, it goes in parentheses. Same with count 6 here. And then we've got a dotted half note, which in 6-8 gets 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that we know how to count in time signatures with 8 as a bottom number, we can change the top number to anything. So for instance, here we have an example in 7-8. We're still counting eighth notes, we're just counting up to 7. So this quarter note would get 2 counts. This quarter note would get 2 counts, 3 and 4, and these eighth notes would be 5, 6, and 7. Then we got a half note here. That's going to get 4 counts in 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And the dotted quarter would get 3, 5, 6, 7. The same is true for time signatures with 4 in the bottom. We just count quarter notes, but we can count up to whatever number is on top. Here we've got an example in 5-4. So our dotted half note would get 3 counts. It's equal to 3 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3. This quarter note gets a count, and this quarter note gets a count. This half note would get 2 counts in 5-4, so that's 1, 2 on the line. The quarter rest would be a 3 in parentheses, right? It gets 1 full beat, but it is a rest, so it's in parentheses. A couple eighth notes would be 4 and a quarter note 5. Let's review. When we are counting in 8, we are counting eighth notes. So if that bottom number of the time signature is 8, we are counting eighth notes. The most common is 6-8, which we can see at the top here. So each eighth note would get a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We also learned that we can count to any time signature that has an 8 in the bottom. Here's an example of 5-8. We're still counting eighth notes, but 5 is in the top, so we would write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same is true of time signatures with 4 in the bottom. We count quarter notes, but we count as high as the top number. So this example of 7-4 should have 7 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thanks for watching.